For today's episode, we are going to be making homemade cheesecake. Not just cheesecake, but Oreo cheesecake. Admittedly, I'm not a huge dessert person, but one dessert I absolutely love is cheesecake, and Oreo cheesecake just makes it even better. We are doing this for the Week 7 matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Oakland Raiders. Now, I couldn't think of a food that was from Oakland or Oakland themed or Oakland inspired. So what better to do than a cheesecake that is Oakland colors? Is that a fair assessment? Are they even Oakland anymore? Are they Las Vegas now? I think they're still Oakland. Pretty sure. To start things off today, we are going to be making the crust. The crust, with it being an Oreo cheesecake, is going to be consisting of Oreos. So what I'm going to be doing is taking about 20 Oreos. I bought the family size of the double stuff. We're going to need a lot of Oreos for this one, so I would recommend the family size as well. I have 2 tablespoons of butter in this bowl, and we're going to add about 20 Oreos to this bowl. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to be doing a food processor. I see my girlfriend had a couple, she taste tested a couple Oreos just to make sure that they were good. But what we're gonna be doing is taking about 20 of these, throwing them in the food processor, and really getting a fine Oreo crumble out of them. That way we can get a good consistency on the crust and get a really nice crumble. So take your Oreos and put them in the food processor, get them nice and fine, and get the butter melted. And then once we have those 2 steps done, we're going to combine them together. All right, now that we have that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix them together in one bowl here. I'm gonna put the Oreo crumbles first. And as you can see, it's a pretty nice crumbly, they still stick together, all that filling in there, the cream, the double stuff, it kind of makes it sticky already. What we're going to do is actually add the melted butter to it. I'm gonna give it a nice stir. Kind of mix everything together. Now I have a 9-inch cheesecake pan that I am going to put the crust on the bottom. We're gonna kind of push it around by hand. If you don't have one of these, you can find the link below to buy it off Amazon, buy the exact same one I have. Really nice, makes it easy to make a cheesecake. You have a thing there, it pulls apart, and then you can just put it back on, tighten it back up. So, all right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to add our Oreo mix, Oreo butter mixture to the bottom of our cheesecake pan. And then we're gonna kind of just push it down by hand to really form it out. What you're gonna wanna do when forming your crust is actually form the crust up the wall of the cheesecake pan just a little bit, maybe about a ½ inch to an inch. So we're gonna knock out this crust real quick, and then we'll resume with the filling for the cheesecake. When it comes to the filling itself, what we're going to need is 3 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. We need 8 ounces of sour cream, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 5 large eggs, a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of sugar, and then the rest of your Oreos crumbled up. Don't go super fine on them, but it's a good opportunity to take out some pent-up aggression you may have. The Vikings? Seriously? Come on. An intercept. Come on. And today I'm gonna be using a beater again. I know I used it for the cookies that I made not long ago. I don't have like a KitchenAid mixer or anything like that. I wish I did. It would come in handy. If you have one of those, I definitely recommend you use that. KitchenAid, if you're watching, hook your boy up. I could definitely use it. To start, what we're gonna wanna do is take our 3 8-ounce portions of cream cheese that we've allowed to sit out at room temperature for, I don't know, an hour or two. And we're going to beat them and kind of fluff them up a little bit to make it easier to incorporate the other ingredients. You may need to stop every once in a while to take a spatula and clean off the sides and help it kind of come back to the bowl. If you have the setup I have, that mixer likes to really throw the cream cheese around. And also you want to clean out those mixers, the beaters, whisks, whatever you want to call them, because they can get cream cheese stuck in them. We're gonna wanna kind of do that periodically while mixing all of this. That way you know you're incorporating the ingredients thoroughly and you know that everything's being mixed up and you're not gonna just have chunks of cream cheese out in the mixture. Now that we have the cream cheese fluffed up and broken down a little bit, what I'm gonna do is take my 1 cup of sugar and slowly incorporate it as I'm using the mixer. If you go too fast, what will end up happening is the sugar will fly everywhere. So just kind of be mindful of that. Take your time with it and incorporate it accordingly. So once you have that mixed in, take your spatula once again and clean off those sides, get underneath, really make sure all that cream cheese is away from the sides. That way you can incorporate it. You don't want to have, I know I sound like a broken record here, but you don't want to have any chunks of cream cheese, big chunks in there. So you want to incorporate it as much as possible and mix it in as much as possible. My beaters are actually looking pretty clean, so I'm not super worried on those. But I think I got some cream cheese stuck to the bottom there, so I got that cleaned off, and I'm gonna incorporate it again here. Once we have our sugar incorporated, now we're gonna add our 5 eggs and incorporate those in. I put them in a side bowl, that way I can make sure no shells are in there. If you're confident, just feel free to crack them right into the bowl. Once again, like a broken record, make sure you're cleaning it out, cleaning around it, getting all that cheesecake unstuck, or all the cream cheese unstuck. You can kind of see there's some chunks there that were stuck yet. So it's just a constant battle of cleaning off the sides and mixing it and incorporating it in. Our batter is slowly taking shape. Now that we've added the eggs, we're gonna slowly add our 1/4 cup of flour, all-purpose flour. Slowly incorporate it, that way you're not running into issues with the flour going everywhere. And like we've been doing in between steps, clean off that bowl. Make sure you're getting all the unused back into the bowl. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure no chunks of anything in there. The pie crust is sitting in the fridge. We want that sitting in there for at least 15 minutes. So we're gonna turn our oven on to 325 and let it preheat while we're putting the rest of the ingredients together. By the time we have everything mixed together the rest of the way, the oven should be preheated. and that crust will have been sitting in the refrigerator for at least 15 minutes. Oven is preheating. We have the pie crust in the fridge. So now what we want to add is we want to add the 1/4 teaspoon of salt and the 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and mix together again. Clean off the sides of our bowl, bottom. Now that we have that mixed in, we're going to add our sour cream. Sour cream seems like an odd ingredient to add, but I think it just helps cut that sweetness a little bit. I don't know if it helps thicken up that batter at all, or if it does anything else, but I think it just kind of helps with that sweetness and gives you that little tang when you're eating your cheesecake. Now that that's added, let's mix it together again. Okay, well, our batter is together. The last thing we want to do is add half of our Oreo crumbles. What are we going to do with the other half? Well, they are going to go on top of the cheesecake filling once we're ready to put it in the oven. But we're going to take our spatula, we're going to add about half of them now and stir them in. We're not going to whisk them in or beat them in. We don't want them broken down too much. Just gently stir them in. So pour about half in. It's probably a little bit more than half, but that's okay. And then just mix them in. All right, pie crust's been sitting now for 15 minutes in the fridge. I'm gonna pour this batter in to the pie crust filling. Get those edges, clean up all that bowl. Try to waste as little as possible of it. And our final step here before we add it to the oven is we're gonna take the rest of our Oreo crumbles and just kind of sprinkle them around the top. And now we're gonna get this in the oven, top rack, 325 degrees, 65-70 minutes. One thing I would recommend is to put a baking sheet on the bottom rack below the cheesecake pan, just in case anything were to drip out while it's cooking. That way it catches it on the baking sheet and it's not on the bottom of your oven. It's been about 70 minutes now, and I've been checking on it periodically. I think it's ready to come out. I don't think you can see, but on the pan underneath there was some things that dripped down, so it's a good thing that we put that in there. Let's take a look at it. Talk about a beautiful cheesecake. Okay, with the cheesecake finally coming out of the oven after cooking for 70 minutes or so, what we want to do now is let it sit in your refrigerator for up to 24 hours if you can. But due to time circumstances, I don't have that luxury this time. So I'm going to get it in the fridge, let it sit for probably 5 or 6 hours. And then I'm going to cut in. We're going to do a first bite. We're going to do all that fun stuff. So just keep waiting patiently. Wait overnight if you can. If you don't have the luxury of it, maybe do 6 hours, depending on how this the rest of this video turns out for me. We'll find out here shortly for you. But if you have the time, wait overnight. It definitely makes a difference. Allows everything to settle. But in the fridge we go for as much time as you can. So it has been resting now for probably 5 hours. It's supposed to be 24 hours. So that's pretty close. So what we're gonna do is take a butter knife and just trim around the outsides to help release it. All right. Okay, for first bite tonight, I have a nice guest, not like the guest I had in the Philly cheesesteak episode, an actual guest. So Wade, who is in the Madden videos, come on in, Wade. He is gonna be, I haven't even tried it yet. We have no idea how it tastes. This could be absolutely terrible. It could be good, but Waze is an Oreo expert. So he gets the first official try at it. So dive in, let me know what you think.
Great consistency already.
Big bite too.
Wow, it went down so smooth.
Yeah?
Great Oreo texture. Definitely a good batch of Oreos. The crust at the bottom, very good. Just the consistency, I enjoy it. And I think it'll be even better the more you let it sit.
Rather than letting it sit for 4 hours, let it actually sit overnight.
Well, it's hard to let cheesecake sit.
That's very true. What could I do better on it? What could be done different?
I think it's missing probably 2 more Oreos.
That's it. That's it. You and Katie had a taste test them last night. Make sure they're the good batch.
I need to have another bite.
Please do.
I'm gonna get a crust piece here.
I noticed it really cooks out nicely on that crust there. A nice golden brown on the...
That might be my favorite part. Big crust guy. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. Not your best dessert you've ever had?
No comment. You'll need to get Katie on here for a special treat.
She'll never come on this show.
Well, thanks for letting me try it.
Yeah,
Bite.
yeah. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
Hopefully the people at home can make this and you know, be good. But I'm gonna eat the rest of this.
And that is going to do it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for taking the time to watch it. I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button. That'll turn on notifications and let you know anytime I upload a new show or new episode. Also, be sure to follow me on any of my social medias, The Green Bay Guy on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or The GB Guy on Snapchat, as you can see below. Thank you all once again. I truly, truly appreciate it. Until next time, go Pack Go.